Hello everybody, I'm John. This is the Midnight Paint and Body channel. On this video, we are going to be repairing a nasty dent. So that's right, just a dent repair. But it is an ugly dent. So as you can see, this bedside is very much caved in. Now this is the kind of repair. Now, any collision shop you would take something like this to, they would automatically want to put a bedside on it. The right way to do this would be to put a bedside on it. It's a nasty dent. It's super stretched. But here's the thing. This is a work truck, obviously. It's it goes in the bush. It does working man things. It fuels up machinery and goes on logging roads and it does work stuff. So she gets used. So reasonably so, customer just says, let's just fix it. Do what you can. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect forever repair. It's an old work truck with 500,000 kilometers on it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, so, he's not worried about a few nicks and scratches in the work trucks, but something like that, he doesn't want to drive around with the bedside completely caved in like that. So we're going to fix this up. So I'm just going to start with a little tear down here, guys. I'm going to get this rear bumper off, tail light flare, and kind of see what access we have up in there to hopefully jack that bedside out. I haven't even looked yet, so I'll bring you along as we make some progress. All right, I got this thing all cleaned up. So I'm gonna try a porta power in there and see if we can get our initial kind of push in here. So I obviously stripped the paint off of our repair area. Now some of these tight little sharp creases and stuff where I don't have good access to hammer in behind, I'm going to use a pin welder to pull a bunch of them out. here. I'm going to use a little heat on this area. Probably goes without saying, you want to know what's on the back side of your panel before heating it like that. In this case, I know it's completely open. If you've got interior panels, insulation, wiring, you don't want to risk using heat like that. And I will have to make sure I undercoat the back side of that panel after, because I'm essentially burning off any primer that's on the inside. Alright, so I'm going to keep working a few more of these little spots, but you kind of get the idea there. Yeah, I'll just kind of keep working my way around and work out as much of this low stuff as I can. Alright, so this is, for a bush truck, close enough for filler. So we're going to start with a coat of Evercoat Everglass fiberglass reinforced filler. And this is just going to kind of seal everything up. It's going to give it a little extra strength, and it's going to give us something to build onto with our body filler. We probably are going to be a little heavy on body filler, but it's not crazy. This all came out pretty decent, actually. But at the end of the day, bush truck repairs are a little different. I'm not saying it's okay to be a complete hack, but I think it's okay to cut the corners a little, and that's what we're doing here. Actually, you know what? Let's just pretend that body line's not there for a minute. Right. Be back when this cures up a bit. So here's something some of you younger guys might not be familiar with. It's a cheese grater for bodywork. When you are doing some heavier body filler work, cheese grate it into the rough shape just to save on some sanding. saying that this is heavy filler work, but some might. All right, so I didn't record that part, but there's our filler roughed out, and our fiberglass filler roughed out, and now we're ready for some regular body filler. But first I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee and a little break, and yeah, when I come back we'll slap some filler on this thing. Well, there we are, guys. That is basically a finished repair. Just got to feather it back for some primer, which will probably happen tomorrow. It's pretty much the end of the day. Yeah, it's actually not a bad little repair at all. A little bit of a low right there. Might be a little skip a putty there. But yeah, that's basically just feather it back, mask it up for primer. That's the way I like to do body work. I think you should be able to do it in one coat of body filler and be done. Now obviously it's got a coat of the fiberglass filler underneath that filled a lot of the bigger imperfections before we put the filler on. But at the end of the day, like, that is not a lot of filler on there. It's a lot on the floor, but that's definitely a decent repair for the old work truck. So I'll probably get that primed up in the morning. I've got another truck outside that needs to be painted tomorrow, and then I'll kind of bring you guys back for the prep work. Well, it is the next day. Our repair is obviously all in primer, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing prepped up for paint. So a bunch of block sanding. I am not going to record this part. I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to paint. So I moved ahead a little bit here, guys. We're masked up in the booth, all washed down, ready to paint. So as you can see, very minimal breakthrough on the primer with the blocking process. So that tells you that the body work was nice and straight. So, again, not saying I'm a great body man, but when you've been doing this stuff as long as I have, especially when you do every aspect of it, I think you get better at finishing your filler. This might be controversial, but I think sometimes guys that are body men who have never had to do this step aren't as good at finishing the body work off. Not saying that's everybody, so I don't want to overgeneralize. There's some body men out there that are way better than I am. That is for sure. But anyway, let's go mix up some paint. Okay, we can turn off the noisy mixer. Oh, hold on, I gotta turn off my radio. You guys might hear music and then I'll get shut down. God forbid you hear my radio. Those musicians will go broke. I don't understand that. You'd think they'd want people to hear their music. Anyway, so our paint code on this truck is PUS. Dodge calls it Blazing Saddle. Not to be confused with the 1974 cinematic masterpiece Blazing Saddles. Alright, so I'm going to bring up my formula and let's start mixing some paint. Here we are, Blazing Saddle. Another one finished up. Not washed yet, but I'll put it out in the morning and just hose it off outside. It's just a dirty old bush truck, so I won't get too carried away with it. So, as you can see, it is a nice repair. Nothing wrong with that. Now, this is kind of the age-old question with auto body collision repair. It is, you know, repair versus replace. That's what it all boils down to. You know, even when you take your vehicle in for collision repair, I mean, that's what the shops have to look at. Is it more cost effective to repair the panel or to replace the panel? Just like when a car gets written off, is it more cost effective to write the car off or repair the car? It's all the value of the car, the cost of the car, cost of the parts. In this case, so one of these short bed bedsides, aftermarket panels are around $1,500 a piece. So with the labor, now this is of course just at my shop rate, $75 an hour. This would be about $3,000, give or take, to put a bedside on. This repair, it's going to be right around half of that. So absolutely good enough for an old bush truck. I mean, you know, we're not dealing with a you know, somebody's nice town truck might be a little different, but this is a work truck. This is what these trucks are made to do. This, you know, I mean, actually this old truck's pretty impressive. It's still in pretty good shape. It seems to run beautifully. It's got almost 500,000 kilometers on it. And she's clearly seen the bush roads and gets used, so good old work rig. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that repair. Let me know your take on it. You know, what would you prefer if it was your own vehicle? What would you prefer if it was your own vehicle and you were paying for it out of your own pocket? I guess I should word it that way. You know, $1,500-ish to repair it. Looks like it never happened. $3,000-ish to replace the panel. It would look the same, but I mean, it would be a little nicer repair. It wouldn't have a repaired panel, body filler and stuff, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It should last, well, the rest of the life of this truck, I would think, unless it gets hit again. But anyway, guys, sorry for the babbling. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you come back and check out the next one.